Delegation led by Democratic Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts, traveling to Taiwan Sunday. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, it's Sean Thompson. Now's the time to join millions of Americans who have changed the quality of their sleep with MyPillow. And my friend Michael Lindell didn't stop at pillows. Right now, MyPillow is having their biggest sheet sale of the year. The MyPillow Percale sheets are the comfiest set I own. You're going to love them. They're available in a variety of colors and sizes, and they're all on sale. For example, the queen size, regularly priced $89.98, now only $39.98 with the promo code LIBERTY. Order now, because when they're gone, they're gone. These MyPillow Percale sheets are breathable, have a cool, crisp feel, come with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. There's limited supply, so order now. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listeners square, and use promo code LIBERTY. You'll also get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. MyPillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201. Use the promo code LIBERTY.
Visit MyPillow.com.
Do you suffer from lower back pain, knee pain, foot pain, or fallen arches? Do you? If yes, just stop and write this magic word, G-Defy, G-D-E-F-Y. What is G-Defy? G-Defy is the footwear designed by Gravity Defier Medical Technology with the worldwide patented VersoShock sole. Their shoes are clinically shown to relieve pain by a double-blind clinical study conducted by Olive View UCLA Medical Center. You can try a pair for 30 days with free corrective fit orthotic inserts. If you're not satisfied, just return the shoes for a full refund and keep the free orthotics as a gift. Put an end to suffering. Save $20 and get free shipping from Gravity Defier when you go to gdefy.com/radio and use code RADIO. That's gdefy.com/radio, code RADIO. You have nothing to lose but your pain.
The new administration has big plans for your health insurance, changes that can limit your choices. The Affordable Care Act created a one-size-fits-all plan. Healthcare is not a one-size-fits-all problem. The premise of the ACA is that coverage equals care. It does not. My name is Eric Wilson from ICE Health Incorporated, and I recently saved a family in their 50s almost $600 per month here in Chicago with the pro-life health plan. Act now. Protect yourself with a plan that cannot be canceled. This is a nationwide PPO which allows you to pick your doctors and hospitals. Start saving 30 to 60% today. If you are self-employed, purchase your own health insurance, or are uninsured, you can lock in a private plan managed by you, not the government. Call me, Eric Wilson, an expert with 17 years experience at 888-448-5370. That's 888-448-5370, or go to iCellHealth.com. That's iCellHealth.com, a conservative and affordable approach to healthcare. I look forward to speaking with you.
AM560, The Answer. This live program is sponsored by Safer USA OT Media Group. It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, find out which one of your favorite symbols now falls under the category of terror. We'll talk about politicizing the DOJ, more on everyone's favorite actor, Alec Baldwin, and we'll talk about inflation. To participate in the show, call our studio at 312-642-5600 or watch, interact, and subscribe at YouTube on Target Radio.
You know how for years now I've been saying I want to get a tattoo. I've never had a tattoo. Never had one put on.
Where are you going to get it?
Well, I've put it on my shoulder, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, I've been saying it for years, right, Gretchen? I want to get a tattoo.
That's affirmative.
But what you put on that's
Right.
basically there for good, what do you want to do? And I've leaned towards the Gadsden flag.
Yes.
I think that would be good. Well, now, if I do that...
No AM560 imaging?
No,
Well, you know, it's funny because
That would be
I
funny.
thought if I was to ever get a tattoo ever, and I probably would never, that would probably be one of the choices.
yeah, I've been the same thing because I've been literally talking about it for years and I haven't done it. Part of it is I don't want to go to some really crummy tattoo artist and get, whatever they get.
We'll bring one into the
Like
studio for
hepatitis
the
or
next
something.
radio show and just have it do it here
That's a
on the
thought.
air.
That's a thought, yeah.
You two get the Gadsden flag. I'm going to get one of those
pig diagrams, the butcher diagrams.
Oh, with the different cuts.
How you cut up a pig? Yeah,
Different cut. Yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
that's what I'm
exactly.
gonna get right on the pork chop.
All right. Hey, all right.
Well, anyway,
Be live on YouTube.
getting a Gadsden flag now might not be a really great idea, although more than ever, I really think I want one as a result of this. But the Big Brother has said Gadsden flags, Betsy Ross, Liberty Tree, Punisher skull. You know the Punisher skull?
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah.
You got that on the back of your truck. You got a T-shirt with a Spartan helmet, a tattoo, any of those sorts of things. The FBI this was in a classified document that somebody snitched and
So much for that.
let it out. So much for classified documents. It was Project Veritas and Gun Owners of America leaked the document, but they're saying those individuals are indicative of anti-authority, violent extremists, specifically, and ready, got to remember this is what we are, militia violent extremists, or MVEs.
Ooh, MVEs.
MVE. So there's my tattoo on my forehead, MVE.
Wow.
What happened to the First Amendment? I guess that's the first thing that comes to mind. This is the Biden White House, and they think all this stuff is, are terrorists. We talked about this earlier. So many people today who are upset with the government, they call themselves patriots. Okay, I get that. I buy into that. But the problem is, and what people don't understand, that the definer of who's a patriot and who's a terrorist is who's in power.
Oh, exactly. Well, it's like we've said 100 times before. It's 1984.
Exactly.
They decide everything.
We think we're patriots. They think we're terrorists. Wasn't
it during the Obama administration that they said the same thing about veterans and
Yes, they were afraid of veterans.
militia members,
Mhm.
and there was a whole bunch of groups that a lot of us and our friends would fall into that they classified as domestic terrorists.
Wasn't that Pelosi that said you have to be careful about ex-military because they're terrorists? Wasn't it Pelosi that said that?
I don't remember if she ever said that, but it was like a release from some government agency during the Obama administration.
Thanks for bringing that up. I had just gotten my dose of Repress-It-All, just, perfectly,
Repress-It-All.
perfectly figured out there, and now you had to go bring that up, make me remember again.
Yep.
You just have to up your prescription.
I guess so. Just double my meds.
Now, here's the other interesting thing that's pointed out in this article, and that is there are a lot of local and state law enforcement units that identify with these symbols, particularly when you get in the South and the Southwest. They're wearing those sorts of labels on their uniform.
Yeah, I mean, you got the blue line flag, which they don't like either because it's racist now.
Oh, yeah.
And then, anything to do, and it's really sad, it's like anything to do with historic America is wrong.
It's crazy.
And how can you claim to be
the
an
Betsy
American?
Ross flag is racist.
Right.
I can't even remember all the different, but yeah, crazy.
Like before you know it, like the Pledge of Allegiance is, groups that recite the Pledge of Allegiance prior to their meetings is racist. It wouldn't even be surprising at this point.
No.
If you heard that.
No.
Well, people like cops and stuff, we identify Colonel
Sanders.
Grossman. No, that's a donut.
fact.
He'd be a donut guy, not a chicken guy.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. There was some dead air there, so
Right.
Well, you
I
learned.
just jumped right in there.
You learned, didn't you?
I
Never
learned from the
allow-
best.
No dead air. Yeah, that's it. No, it was Dave Grossman who came up with that concept of sheepdog. There's sheepdogs, there's wolves, there's sheep, and there's sheepdogs. And particularly police officers have identified with that concept. And the people who, think of themselves as patriots identify themselves that way. They're protectors of fellow citizens.
Yep.
That's wrong. They're dangerous. Those people are terrorists.
And the funny thing is, if you think about like good people or people that we consider to be good people, we're always ready to help somebody else.
Exactly.
That's in need or that's in crisis or something like that. When do you ever see the liberals jumping in to do that?
They don't do that.
No,
Are you kidding?
they'd rather yell at you or, get out of my way or, just whatever. But they're not willing to help.
I think liberals, they always expect somebody else to do it.
They do.
Oh, that's for the police. That's
they want to call the
firefighters.
police and have the police come out.
That's for the firefighters. That's for the paramedics. That's for,
Not realizing they've defunded all of that.
Well, I'll give you.
and not only that, but you never know when they're going to show up.
I'll give you a good example of what you just said. I went down and covered Katrina back when I was a journalist, and people, very famous people, sent their aircraft down there with supplies. Just they just did it voluntarily.
Sure.
What's interesting is when you look at who sent their airplanes down. For instance, Oprah sent hers down. She was not with the airplane, but she sent down stuff. But then you look at what's his name?
John Travolta.
You look at
We
John
talk about it all the
Travolta.
time.
He flew his airplane in. He helped unload the supplies, and he drove a truck into town with the supplies. So the people who were basically conservatives, they were there, they were working. The people who were more liberal, they sent stuff, but you got the sense that they were doing it so that they could say they did it, because they sure didn't show up. You didn't see them anywhere.
They were doing it to buy votes.
Exactly.
And it's sickening to say that, and I'm probably wrong for saying that and going to hell, but I think that, I honestly think that that's the case.
Well, think about this. Auxiliary? So anyone in an auxiliary reserve unit is going to be considered a terrorist. I mean, these are people who are doing this without pay. They're not doing it as a job. They're doing it because they want to carry a gun and they want to be able to go out in patrol cars and shoot people.
Yeah, I mean, like any of the militia,
Yeah.
whatever. And I think it's funny because the equivalent to the auxiliary in Arizona is actually called the posse.
The posse,
The
yeah.
sheriff's posse.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
I was like,
Well, that
okay.
goes back to the old days.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, exactly.
Well, and so getting back to the Gadsden flag, the interesting thing too, you pointed out, I actually wasn't aware of this. Florida State just issued a Gadsden flag license plate.
DeSantis just approved a specialty plate for Florida, which features the Gadsden flag,
I would love
It's
to have that plate.
fantastic.
which is
yeah.
awesome because I think the only other state I knew of that did that was New Hampshire.
Right.
I think it was New Hampshire. I know their motto
Arizona has one.
is. I've not
be wrong.
seen one in Arizona.
I haven't either.
Now, the other interesting thing is they also identified groups who are particularly egregious. For instance, Oath Keepers. Are you an Oath Keeper?
I'm not, but
I am.
I know of the Oath Keepers.
I'm an Oath
I
Keeper.
don't have any problems with them.
Oath Keepers, quite simply, are anybody who's sworn to the Constitution, taken the oath. Prior military, law enforcement, anybody that, held up their hand.
Anybody that's going to help and
They-
do good.
They can then join Oath Keepers. They qualify to join.
Sure.
They also listed American Contingency, the 3%ers. They call all of them are extremists, according to the FBI. They reference armed sieges such as Ruby Ridge, the home of Randy Weaver in Idaho, and the Branch Davidian compound in Waco. That's where our government is right now. So basically, we're terrorists.
Well, that's not news to me, though. I mean, we all know that we all joke that we're on more watch lists than we want to be on. But,
Yeah. Seriously.
it's probably more true now than ever.
We're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we'll kind of carry on with this theme. We're going to talk about the Department of Justice and the politicizing. Some of the things that's been going on over there are really scary. So we'll talk about that and more when we return with On Target Radio. And you are listening to AM560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Kids going back to school.
Well, they've lost 20,000 in LA Unified School District.
They lost 10 in Chicago.
And last we were told is that it's going to be the same thing as it was last year. If you're not vaccinated and you're around somebody who has COVID, you are kicked out of the government building for 5 days.
Yeah, a lot of people are kicking themselves out of the government buildings permanently.
Start your day with Chicago's Morning Answer. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM560. The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical
tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
So it's one of those things I got, okay, I know these things are working, but, I just can't. Eventually, I'll get in the habit of taking them all the time. It just takes me a while to get into a routine. And I forget to take them, and then I go to take them again, and I still tell a difference. Just the times I have taken them, the balance of nature, I do notice a difference. I have more energy. I'm not sleepy when I get off work, especially sitting at a computer. I work remotely, and I do accounting. I get off work at 3:30 in the afternoon, and usually by 4:30 I'm ready for a nap. But when I do take those, I'm not.
Start your journey. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get free shipping, and don't forget to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code CHICAGO.
Now that I've got your attention, let me tell you all about us. Whoa, tough crowd. Anybody out there? Hello? Anyone?
Fighting to be heard in today's competitive digital world?
It's time for Salem Surround. Let us handle everything and get your message seen and heard.
Let's turn up the volume on your business with Salem Surround.
Learn more at surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com. Connecting you with new customers.
Hi, this is Carl Amari.
I'm Lisa Wolf. Join us every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. for all things entertainment on Hollywood 360.
If you love classic radio shows, The Shadow, Jack Benny, The Lone Ranger, Dragnet, Gunsmoke, and many more, we have them for you on Hollywood 360.
We'll also present trivia contests with prizes, showbiz news, celebrity interviews, games, and movie reviews.
So don't miss Hollywood 360 every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. on AM560 The Answer.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
Designating somebody because they have a Gadsden flag tattoo as being a terrorist is bad enough. But the entire Department of Justice, just think back to when Trump was running. They actually had FBI agents, on-duty FBI agents, openly talking about overthrowing Trump and doing what they could to do it.
Yeah, it seems like they're taking the DOJ, and I'm really surprised because usually law enforcement you think of as more of a, conservative kind
FBI was the epitome of law enforcement.
Right, exactly. And you really hold them in high regard, or we did anyway. But now it seems like the left is taking the DOJ and the FBI and just using it for their own political purposes. And we saw that with the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Have you ever seen a sitting former U.S. president have a raid like that?
It's galvanized people, though. Really seriously.
They took, they sat on the Hunter Biden story with a laptop.
They're still sitting on it.
You're right. They're saying they're investigating it and they're checking it. I'm sure they've probably wiped it by now. But and then you had the Project Veritas, James O'Keefe. They raided his home over Biden's daughter's diary, and it just seems like, and there's no business using these departments for that. You can obviously easily use local law enforcement or something, or there's different ways to handle that situation. But it seems like, even with the expansion of the IRS, like the IRS decides who what qualifies as an organization and what doesn't.
Right.
As a political organization or a not-for-profit or whatever. And when they control all of that, they control everything.
Well, and they don't think anything of a mob demonstrating outside the personal residence of a Supreme Court justice.
No, or burning a city down.
Or burning a city down. However, if the Supreme Court justice had been Ruth Bader Ginsburg, then you'd have seen all hell break loose.
Oh, it would have been
a constitutional crisis.
Right, exactly. It just, I don't understand it anymore.
Well, it's out of control. And what I don't understand is how does somebody, well, maybe I do. I was going to say, how does somebody as inept as a president as Biden is? And I say that with all the love in my heart. but he is. He's totally inept. He's proven it resoundingly, repeatedly. How somebody like that can lead people to have this sort of an effect on law enforcement. But as I say that, I'm thinking it isn't Biden. He's a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not the one that's pulling the strings.
I mean, you gotta wonder if Obama's kind of running the show back there.
Somebody
or somebody
or whoever was running the show when Obama was out front.
Now they're saying, I think the who was it that just put out
Kamala Harris?
No, it was one of those global.
President Harris.
It was that global organization that we're all part of, like not NATO, but something like that, where they basically said that if you believe any of these conspiracy theories, that you're wrong and you're a problem,
right,
and you're a terrorist for believing any of these theories that think that there's a shadow government running the government.
Yeah, no, there can't possibly be. Everything is explained. Nothing to see here.
Right,
Move on.
exactly.
Nothing to see here.
Exactly.
It is clearly a coordinated effort. These aren't random things. That the FBI is out for people. This isn't random stuff. This is all coordinated. I don't think that even Obama has the gravitas to pull this off. I think it's a George Soros or somebody that we may not even know. We may not even know who he is.
That is a very
more of
real
a behind the
possibility.
scenes type of person. Well, and think too. I mean, you're saying, oh well, using the FBI like this is inconceivable. Think back to like Peter Strzok and his girlfriend, whatever the hell her name was, and I mean, my personal belief is that these agencies they're almost like sleeper agents. And when whatever party they favor comes to power, then they're activated and they'll do whatever they're told, And apparently, I think that the Democrat Party has more sleeper agents than the Republican Party does.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Well, when you saw the riots that were going on, and
no, they were the mostly peaceful protests.
Well,
they were not riots. Get it right.
But when you saw Antifa getting out of control and start to spread across the country, somebody sent me a copy. These were totally orchestrated. Remember, I showed it to you. They sent me a list of you can do these things, but you can't do these things because we can get you out of this. But you can't go to this level here. If you get into trouble, call this phone number. I mean, they were flyers they were giving these people and telling them what to do, where to go. There are bricks located in a pile at this location. Mm-hmm. And the signs, you, Gretchen, are the one that mentioned about the signs a year or so ago that have these spontaneous people would just get together and they would protest, except they had identical signs across the United States.
Right.
They were all exactly the same
They
signs.
were professionally printed. They weren't homemade signs.
Yeah, if I want to get something professionally printed, at least in that mass quantity, it takes quite a while.
You need some lead time for that.
This stuff is planned way in advance. Yeah. And then distributed. It's got to be distributed across the country. So,
right.
Yeah.
Even if it's printed locally, they're using the same file, the same graphics file. So it's distributed across the country to local printers, and then which again they have to have lead time to be able to do that, and then somebody goes and picks them up when they're ready. Yeah, it's all coordinated.
It just is. It's frightening that this is really happening, and most people, I would think, most people want to have more faith in the system than they should.
Yeah.
and thinking, well, sure, okay, I believe that happened, but I just think that just happened. It was spontaneous. But you look at 2,000 Mules, and by the way, if there's anybody listening to the show who has not seen 2,000 Mules, you have to see it. You absolutely have to see it, because you will watch how the mules had routes like milk delivery. They'd make the same route every day at the same time and drop handfuls of ballots in every one of those boxes. It's the most damning thing that we've seen so far. It's clearly coordinated. Somebody just doesn't come up with this idea for Illinois, and somebody in California just happens to have the same thought at the same time.
Yeah, no.
This stuff's coordinated.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is, and it's scary because you think, you keep hearing that there's going to be this red wave coming in November, and I truly hope there is, and I think there will be. I mean, you can't, no matter which side you're on, you cannot you cannot keep ignoring these things like the Department of Justice being, politicized and things like that. The fact that they raided Mar-a-Lago, that's got to start at least kind of like, you have to start thinking what is going on here, and you can't just. I'm seeing numbers that there's a 61% chance that the Democrats are going to keep the House and the Senate now. It's like, why are these numbers going up after more and more is happening? These numbers should be going down.
I think it's propaganda.
It certainly is.
I think that history has shown that during a midterm election, it does tend to flip to the party who does not have the presidency. But yeah, it's unfortunate. The Mar-a-Lago raid. It's unfortunate that Trump is such a polarizing figure, because I think that more independent-minded voters would be upset about that if Trump were not so polarizing.
Right.
He's so polarizing that there's only a segment of, probably right-leaning people or quote-unquote Trump voters who are going to be upset by that, and everybody else is going to go, well, he deserves it, and miss the point. Miss the gravitas of the situation.
Right. Well, what's concerning to me is obviously they found documents there, or Trump's saying they maybe planted documents. I don't know. I don't pretend to know. I think there's probably a little bit of embellishment on both sides.
Sure.
But they're really, the news is like really getting under this, like, we found nuclear documents, and that word is scary to everybody, and this is, oh my gosh, he was gonna kill us all or whatever, and it's just not the case. But people that watch CNN and MSDNC and all that, they believe whatever they watch, and that's the problem. It's scary, and that's all there is besides Fox or whatever. But
well, and that's the problem. I mean, you do have to pick your news sources very carefully.
It's getting to the point
it's not news. That's the problem.
It's getting to the point.
Thanks for choosing On Target Radio.
Yeah.
Well, we get our news from CNN. We're going to have to take
negative.
We're going to have to take another break, and when we return, we're going to come back with Alec Baldwin. Well, not in the studio, but we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about Rust and some things that have come out. So all that and more when we return with On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
See the world premiere of Uncle Tom 2, the sequel to the groundbreaking 2020 documentary from executive producer Larry Elder. And you can meet Alan West and Chad Jackson from the film at a special VIP reception. It's all happening on one night only in one theater on Thursday, August 25th at the Hollywood Boulevard Cinema in Woodbridge. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/movie. That's 560theanswer.com/movie. Presented by the Black Conservative Summit.
I'm Laura Cantor. The FBI and Department of Homeland Security reporting an increase in violent threats on social media directed at law enforcement agencies, following last week's raid at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Maryland's Republican Governor Larry Hogan tells ABC's This Week that he wants more clarity.
On the one side, you could say, well, if the Justice Department, the FBI, and the federal judge believe that they should do it, then it must be pretty serious. On the other hand, in the absence of more transparency, people are going to continue to jump to conclusions.
Republicans calling for the affidavit that led to the FBI search to be released. The former president says all of the documents were declassified.
We should determine, whether there was any effort during the presidency to go through the process of declassification. I've seen no evidence of that, nor have they presented any evidence of that.
California Congressman Adam Schiff on CBS's Face the Nation. America's listening to Fox News.
Do you like your gun range bag? There's a really cool local company here in Chicagoland that makes the finest range bags anywhere. And these quality range bags are so inexpensive that I bet you won't hesitate to buy one. The Hackett range bags from Hackett Equipment have it all. There are compartmentalized pouches that hold 2 or 4 pistols, ammo, mags, and even targets. Basically everything you need for a day at the range in a stealth design that doesn't resemble a range bag. Nobody will know you're carrying firearms. Additionally, they're super heavy duty and will last a lifetime because Hackett bags are 30% heavier than typical range bags. And the price is unreal. The large pack is under $100 and the small one under $80. But if you visit gunrangebags.com and use the promo code AM560, you'll save an additional 10%. Hackett Equipment bags really are range bags that can hack it. That's gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com. Do it now.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, and if you're 50 years old and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. The least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $540 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,550 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $273 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $6,050 in total out-of-pocket cost per person with my lower deductible, and you save $267 per month with my lower premiums. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Hi, it's Sean Thompson. Now's the time to join millions of Americans who have changed the quality of their sleep with MyPillow. And my friend Mike Lindell didn't stop at pillows. Right now, MyPillow is having their biggest sheet sale of the year. The MyPillow Percale sheets are the comfiest set I own. You're going to love them. They're available in a variety of colors and sizes, and they're all on sale. For example, the queen size, regularly priced $89.98, now only $39.98 with the promo code LIBERTY. Order now, because when they're gone, they're gone. These MyPillow Percale sheets are breathable, have a cool, crisp feel, come with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. There's limited supply, so order now. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listeners square, and use promo code LIBERTY. You'll also get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. MyPillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201. Use the promo code LIBERTY.
Visit MyPillow.com. Dr. Gorka here, and you know me. I am very cynical about products, especially those that claim to help people suffering from pain. So when I tell you that Relief Factor truly works, I want you to know that I mean it. I suffered from a stiff lower back for almost a decade, one so painful it made it difficult to kneel in church on Sundays. When I finally decided to give Relief Factor a try, I didn't ever imagine that I would find myself free of the pain. But that's what happened. Now I take Relief Factor every day. Almost 70% of the more than 500,000 people who have tried Relief Factor end up ordering more. That's because it works for them the way it worked for me. Isn't it time for you to get out of pain? Your first step to becoming pain-free should be to order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of only $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. Feel the difference.
We now return to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer. If you have a question or an opinion, share it with us at 312-642-5600. And now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
You know, when that came out originally about the shooting on Rust and Alec Baldwin, and I will give this before I say what I'm going to say. I can't stand Alec Baldwin. if he got run over by a bus, I'd give the driver an award.
We should record an anti-Alec Baldwin disclaimer for you.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So you
I
can
don't
just
like
play
that.
it. You can just play it every time.
Alec Baldwin's a pig, and he's an anti-gun pig. However, when the first information that came out about Rust, I was working on a SAG case, legal case. So I had the SAG book that lists everything you can think of that could be dangerous. Flying airplanes, carrying knives, getting into fights, all the stuff that could happen in a movie is all in one book. It's the SAG, I forget what they call it, safety book or whatever, including handling firearms. And so I was familiar with it because I was working on a case where two stunt people, one shot the other. And I listened to what they said had happened on the set of Rust, and I go, Alec Baldwin didn't do anything wrong. I don't like the guy, but he didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Well, I'm glad I didn't get it, because when I said, boy, I'd like to get this one, well, I'm glad I didn't. Because like every week, something new came out.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it was an ever-changing event.
Yeah, so the latest thing, this just came out this week, is the FBI was contacted and brought into this, and they did a forensic report. They conducted an accidental discharge test, most likely in a laboratory, and they determined that the gun used, the exact gun, not a similar gun, the exact gun used, it was a .45 caliber Colt pistol, F. Illy Pieta single-action revolver. When the hammer was in the quarter and half-cocked positions, the gun would not fire without the trigger being pulled. Also, in the fully cocked position, the gun could not be made to fire without a pull of the trigger.
So here's the problem. Alec Baldwin hates guns, so there's no reason to believe that he has any kind of training. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he just doesn't know about guns.
Other than maybe in movies or
Yeah.
prior whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not
a gun guy.
No.
So that particular gun, if you want to load or unload it, you have to go to half cock. And when you go to half cock, you just bring the hammer back and it clicks, and it just stays there.
Right.
And that way you can rotate the cylinder, but the gun's not going to go off or it's not going to fire. Now, we both know, we've had this discussion, you have to pull the trigger to put it back down. But from the perspective of somebody like Baldwin, I can understand where he says, I didn't pull the trigger, because he doesn't view that as pulling the trigger. He views that as lowering the hammer.
No, I mean, to me, especially if you don't know what a gun is, if your finger is on the trigger and you're moving the trigger, I would say, especially as a layperson, that I'm pulling the trigger. So I don't know how he claims that he wasn't pulling the trigger.
So,
but
yeah.
Here's the interesting thing. So the first story I saw on this, I know Gretchen has a more reliable source. The story I saw was TMZ, which I hate with a passion. Whoever that guy who's so pretentious on there that always carries that little tumbler or whatever on that show, because it would start when I was watching something else.
He's the head dude. He's like the producer.
I just want to punch the TV every time I see
Yeah,
him.
he's kind of an ass.
They do get some things right that no one else gets, though, sometimes, and that angers me even more.
Well, here's one thing they got wrong. So TMZ actually said that, there's no way, you could do it without pulling the trigger, but you could drop the hammer and it could strike the primer, which would make it sound like a gunshot, but it wouldn't be enough to send a bullet out of the gun.
They said
they
that.
literally said that. It's still, and I checked the story, and it still says that.
When it sounds like a gunshot.
I mean, if you never saw that, like, anatomy of a pew kind of thing, like you have the primer, you have the powder, you have the bullet, and guess what? That primer's going to ignite that powder, and it's going to send that bullet out the barrel.
That sounds to me like an idiot read the FBI report and then conflated two parts of it. Because the FBI report did also describe dummy rounds and blanks.
It did describe that, but I just, there's no fact-checking there, which I don't expect for TMZ.
Well, so here's a bigger problem, in my opinion. Here's a bigger problem for Alec Baldwin. There are people working on that set who are willing to testify that the scene that they were rehearsing did not involve him pulling the trigger.
And you're right.
And that he should not have pulled the trigger because it wasn't in that scene.
Well, according to the FBI, he didn't. Well, what they say, there's no way it could have gone off without him pulling the trigger. So
Right.
saying he
So
did
they
pull the
basically
trigger.
said he did pull the trigger, and he says he didn't pull the trigger.
Actually, my understanding is
my
understanding was there wasn't even a gun supposed to be in that scene.
No, that's new news that I haven't heard.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. But yeah, It's just wacky. I mean, it's totally, every time you read something about it, the rules change. You discover something new about it. The fact that the armorer wasn't handling the gun to begin with, it was a second AD, I think it was, second AD, if I recall. That all by itself is a violation. I mean, there were so many places in there. They had live ammunition on the set. That's strictly forbidden.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just it was a circle. You know what?
Loose in a van.
A moose in a van.
No, live ammunition loose on the floor in a van.
And just rolling around. It's okay.
It's all right. What the heck? Who cares? I don't know, and I don't know how this will come out. I can't picture that Alec Baldwin intentionally shoot somebody. As much as I don't like the guy, I don't think that would happen. But anyway.
Yeah, I think it's ineptitude.
We got to take another break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about inflation. All that more when we return with On Target Radio. You're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometrics' secure online backup solution is a reliable way to back up important files. The most common reasons for not backing up are uncertainty about what needs to be backed up and how to do it reliably. Geekometrics provides a full-service managed solution with no storage limit. Geekometrics does all of the setup, configuring, testing, and monitoring. Your data is even safe when you travel with your Mac or PC laptop. Call 630-759-9283 to talk to a specialist who can help you keep your data safe. 630-759-9283. Geekometrics, helping you keep your data safe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a physician. I've been in practice for 40 years. And when I started taking this, I don't like medicines, and I probably have taken more people off medicine than I put on it. And so I looked at it, and it's pretty much a natural element. And there's no question in my mind, knowing a lot of patients, that people my age, 60 and over, do not eat right. And they certainly don't get the appropriate nutrients through the vegetables, fruits, and things like that. So I think that it supplies the building blocks that your body normally would use to heal itself. And if you don't get them, you don't heal right. So it's amazing. I mean, I'm doing what I did 2 years ago.
Start your journey to better health. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get free shipping. And don't forget to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code CHICAGO.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
I remember filling up my tank, and well, not my tank, it was my car, actually. But I remember...
No, it was your tank.
It was my tank, yeah.
I hope you didn't fill up your car.
And it was $84. The most I'd ever spent, I think, was 30-something. It was $84. And that day, Biden said on air, "Don't blame me for this. You shut down the pipeline, you moron. Of course it's his fault. puts thousands of people out of work. $1 billion project shuts down, and people are going, the price of food's gone up. And well, of course, because it's fuel. You got to transport that stuff.
Well, Biden's also saying that, you know, the White House doesn't have any control over gas prices at all. But now that prices are going down, they're taking credit for it. They're saying, well, we worked and we got gas prices down. But what really got me is he got on the news and he said, let me give you a number. 0. We had 0% inflation in July. And I'm thinking, oh, God, what planet are you living on? Where do you get these numbers from? But then at the same time, we just had to force through the 700-plus page anti-inflation bill, which has an additional 87,000 IRS agents.
The Inflation Reduction Act is maybe the most Orwellian name of any
legislation.
It is totally true speak.
They're hiring people to enforce it. Their budget includes money to hire more agents to enforce a program.
Their budget,
quite a few of them armed, apparently.
Well, and that's the thing. The job description was armed, carry handgun, and use deadly force.
Right.
They're tax people.
Right.
And I did the math. There's 90,000 public schools in the United States, and they're hiring 87,000 IRS agents. Couldn't we have just taken and put one armed person in every school?
A one-armed person?
Well, and
you got something against people with disabilities,
an armed person. But it's like, why do we need these? And if you don't think they're coming after you, because I know Biden said, oh, you know, only if you make over 400,000, that's the only thing. But
that's crap.
If you look at how many people in the United States make over 400,000, it's 1 point something %. So you don't need 87,000 agents, which we only have 50 states, right? So how many does it equal per state?
Sure.
That might work for auditing, right? But what the main workforce that they're trying to get is to come after all your little electronic transactions, your Venmos, your PayPals, your eBay sales. They want to rein in all that little stuff because they know that's where the real money is.
Well, and we talked about politicizing departments. And this has happened before. The IRS will focus on organizations that are conservative-leaning or people that are conservative-leaning.
People organizations that don't agree with their politics.
I'll tell you what, people say we're going to, fight him in the streets and all that kind of stuff. Let me tell you what the truth is, what'll really happen. If they don't like you, if they want Eric Allen, they want to take you out, you're never going to see them. They're going to turn your bank account off. They're going to zero your 401k. They're going to cancel every credit card you own. They're going to call in your mortgage. They will literally make you persona non grata in civilized America.
That's how they can grab guns.
Exactly. And how are you going to stop them from doing it?
They know what you
There's
have.
no way you can stop them.
Even if you didn't, say I have this gun. We talked about this before. If you ever Googled it or looked it up or took a picture of it, they know you have it. The CIA and the FBI fully admit they have phone calls and texts of every single phone call and text.
If you ever filled out a 4473, they know.
They know.
Exactly.
Now, here's the interesting part. 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, if you talked about those people, those nutballs that go up into the woods of northern Minnesota and they don't have phones, they don't have this and that. Remember, people like that at surface, and you go, guys, a whack job. He's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, right.
He's looking pretty good because nobody's coming after him, and he's got his life squared away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you almost need to kind of go off the grid if you want to have any chance.
I was going to say, I don't know if you guys remember this story. There was a story of, I think you could call her a senior citizen. She was, I think, in her 60s. Woman who, she had a small ranch house somewhere, and she wanted to be off the grid, and the city or the town that she lived in didn't like it, but she didn't want to pay for electricity. She didn't want to, participate basically in anything. And she ran appliances in her house, off of a car battery. And she was very creative in how she lived. And the local town didn't care for it. But I mean, you don't necessarily have to be in, rural Montana or Minnesota to live off the grid.
Right. And I mean, to be fair, it takes a lot of work to be able to actually have a functioning household that is of off the grid.
But,
and I give a lot of credit to the people that do it.
Me too.
Yeah, it's they just don't look quite so weird anymore.
they're not all Unabombers.
No, but they're terrorists. So remember, you know,
Well,
they probably have an American flag outside.
They got a Gadsden flag on their right shoulder.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with these people.
Shame on them.
I mean, I don't know how this is going to work out. We always used to talk about, well, you know what, it's the pendulum swings, but they've dismantled the pendulum. It ain't swinging anymore.
No,
So-
we're giving tons of money away. I mean, there's all this money in there for, you know, solar and batteries and electric cars. All that comes from China.
Gretchen, do you have any action items?
A couple.
You got a couple. Okay, we're going to hit the action items when we return. Well, we'll talk about it when we get back. All right, we're going to
The IRS would like to apologize for that.
You're more than welcome to do that. Thank you very much. It's good to have George there to disturb our show whenever he feels like it. We're going to be back with more On Target Radio when we return. We're going to talk about action items, all that and more. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Summertime! Now that I've got your attention, let me tell you all about us. Whoa, tough crowd. Anybody out there? Hello?
Fighting to be heard in today's competitive digital world?
Anyone?
Too often, digital campaigns fail because it's being handled by someone inexperienced.
It's time for Salem Surround because our specialists break through all the clutter and put your message and your business front and center. Our team is the best of the best with years of experience and superior ideas and innovations. Salem Surround is obsessed with your success. No cookie cutter treatments here. Everything is tailored to you, your company, and your message.
With Salem Surround, you get it all. From up-to-the-minute analytic reports and insight to managing every aspect of your digital and marketing needs.
So let's turn up the volume on your business. Get started with Salem Surround today.
Learn more at surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com, connecting you with new customers.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. President Biden and the congressional Democrats are well underway to passing what they've labeled the Inflation Reduction Act. It should be named the IRS Expansion Act because they have effectively doubled the size of the IRS with this bill, granting the agency some 87,000 new personnel. Most of them will be agents. And they've spent $3.5 trillion over 2 years, $3.5 trillion that was not needed because COVID had been recovered from in the economy. That had been taken care of in a bipartisan fashion by the last two Congresses under the last two budgets under President Trump. Still, the Democrats spent $1.9 trillion on the American Recovery Act that was unnecessary. They spent $550 billion on infrastructure, $280 billion on the CHIPS Act, and with this new bill, they're on their way to spending another $700 billion. The name Inflation Reduction Act is Orwellian. It will only increase your inflation, while doubling the number of IRS agents looking into all of our finances, every business, every individual. Don't be fooled. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
Safer USA is now offering classes in Geneva, Waterman, and Bonfield. Sunday, August 21st, long-range rifle taught by Ed Janka. Saturday and Sunday, September 24th and 25th, Illinois Concealed Carry 1, taught by David. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register.
Well, that was quick.
Did you want it to be longer?
Not a lot going on there. I don't know.
Yeah, don't get comfortable.
Yeah. So this whole Department of Justice issue and the federal government, I mean, I have no doubt that there are many people in the FBI and the other agencies who are good, honest American citizens. But how many of these guys are out there, men and women, floating around that are literally trying to undermine our government? And I don't expect a number answer.
I was going to say, I don't have a number for you.
Maybe the better question is how many of them how many of the good guys have gone with attrition, and is the new
Right.
breed, the new training, just filling the ranks with people who don't
actually,
care about law
I
enforcement?
think you're right. I think that is what's happened. And the big question is, these are civil servants. You can't just can them because they have a dogma that you don't like.
So
You're stuck with them.
I found this article from Inside Scoop Politics, and it points out that like a CNN commentator, Alyssa Farah, who I never heard of, she said that unless the FBI finds a major violation as a result of the raid on Mar-a-Lago, they just handed Trump the presidency. So I hope that bodes well for us. I don't know. Again, it's August.
I guess I'd
You
be
know,
interested
we used to
in-
talk about October surprise. It's a little early.
Right. I'd be interested in how they arrive at the conclusion that they handed Trump the presidency. 'cause
Well,
I
she's
don't-
just saying it's bad publicity for the Democrats.
The backlash. I mean,
Yeah, but I think they're all believing, though, whatever the Democrats are spewing out.
There's
like,
2 years that are in between now and the presidential election.
There is a long
Well, right.
If
It's
they
a
don't
lot of
find anything by
time.
then, you're going to inspire a lot of sympathy in people who wouldn't otherwise have it.
Right. It's a lot of time, and people have really poor memories. But, you know, then this article does go on to point out the Mar-a-Lago raid will be a voting issue.
well, it will be.
I think that's the
Yet
bigger
this year.
issue.
It is going to be a defining moment. And the other thing that you have to remember is that they're not going to stop. This isn't the last thing that's going to happen. This is an ongoing persecution of this guy. And so there'll be plenty more coming down the pike. There's no doubt. Here's the concern. And I like Trump, but he's a reactionary guy. And if he overreacts and does something stupid, that's not going to go over well.
Well, and the thing is, too, we just had the ex-CIA chief. He says he endorses executing leaders of secrets
Right.
after this Trump raid. So, I mean, they're literally talking about, like, let's just off the guy.
Yes.
I mean, that's how bad they don't want him in there.
There have been speculation abounding ever since this from different areas saying that the talk is being floated around.
And the sad thing is, we're never going to know the truth.
No.
Never. From either side. It's going to be like the JFK. You know, it's
Yeah.
just
Right.
nobody knows.
Yeah, well, everybody knows the mob did that. But anyway, okay. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't.
There's the
I don't know.
Gadsden flag carrying people. Shame
So
on
the
them.
other thing that's really interesting, hopefully I can fit this in, the judge who approved the raid
Oh, this is good.
donated to Obama's 2008 presidential campaign, and he left the local U.S. Attorney's office to rep employees of convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
That is right.
So,
Anyway,
interesting.
That's all the time we have for On Target Radio tonight. Be sure to listen next week when we'll be covering more red meat issues that affect your life.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Chicometrics offers a secure online solution by placing